Hey YouTubers, this is Garrowin. In today's video we're going to be doing kind of a video vlog going over my scanner setup. This is the scanner that I do use in my house. It's a Radio Shack Pro-135. It's a good little handheld scanner. It comes with a 800 megahertz little rubber ducky dongle antenna here that just connects to the top. But the good thing is that the antenna connector up top is just one of these standard RF connectors, so you can connect really anything. And so that's how I turned this into my house scanner. I just had a power cord that matched the voltage and amperage requirements, and I happened to have an adapter that allowed me to convert this connector to a TV coax, which I have run to an antenna out on the back porch. And it seems to work fine. I'll show you guys the antenna here shortly. But let me go ahead and show you that it does receive good here.
Spotter activation is not anticipated.
There's the weather channel. I'm not going to have you guys listening in on what's going on the police bands, but it does work pretty good with this antenna setup. You can buy connectors that will connect those RF adapters to any number of things. This one goes to TV coax, this one goes to CB coax. I actually tested my radio first by taking the antenna wire off the back of my CB radio and connecting it to the scanner with this adapter, and it seemed to work just fine. I picked up all sorts of people. The only thing is I don't have an extra CB antenna laying around to where I could operate both of these at the same time. But it does seem to work pretty good, and it's got up to 200 channels you can program. It's got 10 banks with 20 frequencies per bank, and if you turn on frequency stalker mode here, it allows you to listen in on CB and ham radio frequencies here. Audio, check, 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 check. Now, when you're on frequency stalker mode, if it picks up a CB frequency or a ham frequency, I don't think it particularly listens for very distant stations, because I have noticed that some guys I can pick up fairly clearly on my CB radio do not get picked up by the scanner, but I can pick up police and emergency vehicles way farther away than those CB radio stations are. So I think in frequency stalker it just doesn't particularly look for the weaker CB and ham radio signals. But give me just a second to get outside and I'll show you my antenna setup. So this is the antenna I've got set up for my scanner here. You can see right there in the middle there's a little bit of jimmy rigging going on. What happened was I accidentally broke that middle tine, and so what I did was I shoved it back down in there, packed it full of Gorilla Glue, wrapped some steel and copper wire around all three of those tines, and then packed some aluminum foil around all three of them and the base there to kind of sturdy up that tine, and then just wrapped electrical tape around the aluminum foil to make sure that it wouldn't shift and blow away. And it seems to work just fine. This one does have a grounding rod. So this I've just got to kind of got sitting on my back porch, since I'm not transmitting. I don't necessarily need it to be as high as my CB antenna is. And I've got a 4-foot roofing bolt driven down into the ground down there. I don't know if you can see it or not. That I have my CB antenna grounded to, and I just took the grounding wire from this antenna and ran it down and connected it to that same 4-foot roofing bolt. It kind of looks like rebar with a big old nail head on top of it that they use to support the roofs in coal mines, and I just drove it down into the ground, and that's my grounding rod. So we'll get back in the house here in just a second, and we'll finish this up. So this is my house scanner setup. The goal in trying to reattach that other tine was because I wanted as much surface exposure to the air as possible. When I had that broken piece taken out, it didn't really seem to affect the scanner's ability to pick up good signals, but you know, I wanted as much surface area as I could get, so that's why not only did I shove it down in the metal bracket holding it, but I also surrounded it with metal wire and aluminum foil to make sure that it had as many contact points as possible with the rest of the metal on the antenna, to try and make sure it worked okay. But I'm not an expert on the scanner antenna setups. Maybe there's some documentation out there, but just from my little kind of rig here, they seem pretty tolerant about what you can use as an external antenna for them. I mean, I've got an adapter with TV coax ran to a scanner antenna that's partly held together with aluminum foil and electrical tape. and I'm guessing it's because they're not transmitting, so there's not really going to be much heat or electricity flowing through that antenna. Now obviously some materials will conduct a signal better than others, but they seem pretty tolerant, so, as far as what you can use for your antenna. But yeah, this is it for me. So this is Garrowing out. If y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, or suggestions, feel free to post them in the comment section below, and I'll address them as necessary. Y'all have a good one.